Dealing with schizophrenia or having to have dealt with schizophrenia have or is one of the most demonized, life-changing, overwhelming, and stressful situation ever to come across. It cripples your thoughts, it cripples your future, it cripples your soul. Even though I have been diagnosed at 18, I know within myself I've been going through schizophrenia since I was 7 years old. I have been having voices in my head since I was 7. I was diagnosed with depression, 13 going 14, and re-evaluated after failed attempt to suicide. I understand doctors can only help you to their understanding, and because of this, because of struggling so many years with something that never got fixed, I had to take it upon myself to figure out what is happening to me. Schizophrenia is just broad. I want to take the opportunity to dissect each symptom. So we're dealing with hallucinations. So we're gonna go back before I even got diagnosed with schizophrenia. I started to communicate with a voice in my head at 7, and I normally do this when persons start to tease me. I mentioned previously in one of my videos that because of hormonal imbalance, which made me mature early, so I started growing breasts at 7 and I started menstruation at 8. Once person start to tease me or I'm in a space where I'm not feeling comfortable, there is this voice that would make me feel secure, reassure me that everything is going to be okay and that I don't have to worry. And that voice befriended me. I'm young. I didn't take it as anything. I was scared of everything that was happening, the physical aspect of what was happening, the outward aspect of how persons are responding to me in my situation, and I didn't take it well. I didn't know I should talk. I didn't know I should speak out about how I was feeling. I didn't know these things. I didn't understand how important it is to communicate your feelings, whether good or bad. And it affected me in the worst way possible. However, these voices stayed in my head for some time continually because they were like my best friend. He was like my best friend. To one point I started questioning stuff. When I started getting older, I started questioning stuff, thinking and wondering if it's normal to have a voice in your head, or thinking whether or not it is my subconscious mind. I started questioning things. I was not just having voices in my head. I saw things, and seeing things is one of I create a whole, there were mental pictures and images that I see continually, constantly throughout my whole years. And these things that I saw was never anything good. It was of dead people dying, blood, skulls, everything, headless body, all of that. It was a whole lot. And these things became worse the more I aged, the more I grew older, the images became worse. I would have started being on medication for that depression 13 going 14, but however, being on medication actually made my situation worse. Because of this, I continually had to be switching medications. Like, I go to school, and some of these medications brought a lot of bad side effects, which affected me going to school. Being the fact that I had voices and seeing things, I was confused most of the time. There was a point, it reached to a point where I couldn't turn the voices off, and sometimes I could not distinguish who was talking to me, if it was a voice or it was actually someone speaking to me. My experience with taking medication is not a good one, hence why I fight so much to come off. I fight so much to figure out what was really happening, and this can't just be, oh, schizophrenic and you live your life just like that. No, I was not accepting that. I went out of the box to figure out how to fix this issue. The voices started to multiply. It reached a point where I had 10 voices in my head, 10, and they were at war with each other for who is to take over or to be able to be the head. And it was so much of a confusion. There were times that I would see visual things and it made me feel so awful. Not even food I don't want, the way I feel so awful with what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. The voice alone crippled my whole mind, my body. It's so indescribable. It is so painful. And I used to complain to my doctors. I would often ask them, why is it this is still happening to me? Why is it that is still happening to me? It was so hard to function. It was so hard to function. I don't even know how I have memory up until today. I don't even know how I still have a memory. I don't even know how I'm still able to remember. Because during that process, I lost my memory. I can't remember things. I can't concentrate long enough to even read a book. I couldn't concentrate to even do my schoolwork. It crippled my ability to learn. It crippled my ability to have a social life. Everything was going through healing. I had to relearn. For I never knew who I was outside of being schizophrenic, outside of being depressed, outside of being stressed, outside of feeling overwhelmed, outside of being anxious, outside of being sick. I didn't know who I was. I had to learn who I was while I was going through learning and understanding that I'm not just dealing with a sickness. I am dealing with demons. How I knew I was dealing with demons is when I started to read, when I started to try to control my thoughts, when I started to re-evaluate everything, retract, when I started to want those stones to be uncovered or to pull up everything, the main voice in my head told me that he wasn't leaving. And this is how I understood that I'm not dealing with just mental, a disturbed in the brain. I'm not just dealing with what scientists call chemical imbalance. I'm dealing with a demon trying to control me. I'm dealing with spiritual warfare. I am dealing with someone that subtly came in and did not want to leave. Sitting down thinking that mental illnesses is just a mind thing. The things that I see is not normal. The things that I've heard is not normal. The images, the things that imprint in my mind that I see continuously, involuntarily. It's like it was forced upon me without my permission. I had to fight to get out of that state of mind, and no mental illness can never be cured without God. I could not have overcome without God, and then start to deal with the issues that I have and the issues that I've been faced with throughout my life. Communicate my hurtful moments, my painful moments, my sad moments, my disgust moments, not just the glad moments, good moments. When I was going through, all my life I've been a sad person. I can't say I've ever been happy, and if I was, it's not for long. I've spent most of my time feeling destroyed, disconnected, distressed, outside of my body more than inside. It has been one of the most painful, even talking about it. During the process of trying to control my mind, I oftentimes go through headaches because the voices didn't want me to have that control. I remember when I tried to jump on the back of my school when I was 18 because I was going to classes. And when I didn't jump, the voices cursed me out. They say I was so stupid. No one loves you. Why aren't you jumping? You have no future. You have failed. You are nothing. All these things I will hear them say. Anytime I try to stand up or to take back control, they would attack me and I would have constant headaches, and it became constant migraines. I had to continue to fight. I had to continue to push. I had to continue to try to get back my life, get back my mind, get back into my own head, into my own space. I had to take back what was lost. I couldn't say I've had a life. I couldn't have said that I have experienced having to deal with depression, schizophrenia, anxiety, panic disorder, phobias, OCD, picker syndrome, all at once. I've had a very difficult life. And mind you, my symptoms were not different when I was diagnosed with depression. They said that because of my age, they couldn't diagnose me with schizophrenia at 13 going 14. I had to start relying on God and not on the medication, and looking to Him, making Him be my source of confidence, source of self-esteem, source of life. The mind and the body is one, and they're not separate. And what affects the mind affects the body. I had to understand the physiology and the anatomy of how the body works, and I had to understand that there's a lot that is in my control, and taking that control helped me in a very positive way, understanding that I have choices and various options, because mankind has one way of doing things, the Lord has many ways of doing things, and not limiting my options played a positive role in my life. I didn't limit my options. I was already in the number of persons having to not cope or live the best life they can because they're mentally diseased. I was already a part of that statistic. I needed to step down from that statistic and do different. Do something that no one dare to. Trust in my creator beyond just relying on him when I'm diseased. Beyond just who we think that he is. Operating in obedience so he can commune with me. There were many years where when I couldn't sleep, it was only praying and reading my Bible that put me to sleep, and that says a lot. That says a lot about who God is and who He should be in our lives. If you find this video very informative, I would like you to just go ahead and click a like, share to persons that would want this type of information, and also to subscribe. You can comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. And as per usual, before we go, I'm gonna drop a scripture, for us to meditate upon. Stay blessed. 2 Chronicles 7 verse 14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked way, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land.